Hi, Nutrition Empowered Mums. How are you? This is like my first one in the group. I've done one on my business page, but that wasn't really a live one. It was more of a, I'll just quickly do it now before anyone gets on. Okay, so as you come on, say hi, because I'd really like to chat with you, not to you or at you. So how are you all feeling? It's Friday here in Cairns, just like the rest of Australia, and it just hit me. I feel quite tired. I suppose too because it's the end of the first term at school. So I am a new mum at school now, so yeah, it's really hit me hard. Anyway, we'll get started, and if you can join us, that's great. Otherwise, you can watch the replay. I was going to say refund then. Anyway, so we had a member in our group post a great question, and it was how to get back on track and stop the all or nothing, all in and all out, behaviours. So thanks for that, Belinda. We have a few Belindas in the group, so a big shout out to those as well. So I'm guessing, Belinda, you're talking about in respect to non-dieting, how we can stop going all in with non-dieting and all out. Otherwise, if it's about dieting, that's a whole nother discussion. We all know that dieting doesn't work, and it's the diets that actually fail and cause us to be in and out, all or nothing. So we won't talk about that unless that's really what you want to talk about. So just let me know if you jump on. Anyway, so we'll talk about the non-dieting aspect because this is a non-dieting group. So I've got some notes here so I don't kind of go off track and waffle. I'm known for that sometimes. Okay, so yes, I actually wrote a blog post similar to this question. So if you haven't checked this out, Belinda or others, do that after. I'll link to it in the comments. And that title, from memory, is it's about the assumptions that lead you off track, or something like that. I can't quite remember it now. But in that post, I actually talk about 6 points, and I won't talk about them in detail on this video, but I will go through them quickly just so you can get an idea of what you'll be reading later. Hi Joy, I think that's you. I just saw a little picture. Yes. This is my first real live Joy. I'm scared. Anyway, so in the blog post, point 1 was black and white thinking. That can lead you off track. Point 2 is believing you need willpower to non-diet. The third one is the next quick fix. So you're always looking for something new and exciting to kind of help you through your next, through your journey to do with nutrition and health. The fourth point is nutrition being the saving grace. This is a big one that trips people up. They believe that nutrition is the very thing that actually saves us. Now, just quickly, I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the post now because it was a while back, but it basically, I think the stat is 30%, okay? So nutrition accounts for about 30% of health, okay? So it's not actually a very big percentage at all. So there's lots of other puzzle pieces that fit into improving or maintaining our health. Nutrition is a small amount. Yes, nutrition is wonderful. I mean, that's why I do this work. But I think people put too much emphasis on nutrition being the very thing that will solve all our issues. Now, nutrition is great, but it can't actually save all our issues. Okay, so the other couple of points. Yes, so point 5 was not changing, just believing that because you've always done this, that's the way you should always do things. Point 6 was, oh yes, the myth, believing that weight equals health, or weight loss equals health, or being thin equals health. And the last point in that post was exercise for penance. So that's pretty much about that mindset around, I've eaten this, I need to now exercise this amount of time to burn that off. So I touched on those 6 points in that blog post, the nutrition assumptions that lead you off track. So have a read of that. I think that might help to answer some of your questions, Belinda. So yeah, if you're on, say hi. I want to talk to you, and with you, not at you. Okay, so we'll talk about some other things that popped into my head. I've got some notes here, as I said earlier, just to keep me focused and on track. Being live, this is all very scary. So yeah, we'll talk about those because they're not in the blog post. You can read the blog post at any time. Okay, so really, what helps you to stay on track? Stay on track. I don't actually like the word stay on track because I believe that's more like a dieting sort of talk, mindset. I'd rather use the words, focus, maintaining focus, okay? But either way, however you look at it, it'll change the outcome slightly. But really, it depends on the person. Whoop. Sorry about that. This is live. It's so funny. Oh dear. Okay, let's get back. So yes, it really is dependent on the person as to what your approach, your direction is with maintaining this focus or staying on track. So I might not be very helpful saying that, but I'm being honest, okay? It's really advantageous if you can, if you are at that point where you are really struggling, reach out to a non-dieting APD like myself or therapist, depending on what you feel you need to work on, and they can really work with you to, work out what your issues are and what the best approach for you is, okay? But either way, I've got a few more points. So my biggest tip is, I guess, get clear on, what's going on around these times that you're feeling like you're getting off track or losing focus, okay? To help you narrow down with what's actually going on, think about your thoughts, your feelings, so that can be physical feelings, emotional feelings, also behaviours and your mood that's going on around these times that you're feeling like you're just slipping away, slipping off track, slipping out of focus, okay? It's a really hard thing to do, okay? But this is a big focus when I work with clients because unless you have awareness of what is actually going on, it makes it very hard for you to make change. So I support my clients really well in this, and yeah, there's a few of my clients in this group who will hopefully watch this live after I've finished and give you some pointers as well, because I guess their perspective means so much as well, coming from the non-health professional perspective. Anyway, so getting really clear around what's going on around these off-track periods will be really helpful at knowing how to navigate these future times, because really, honestly, we'll be feeling like this quite often. Now, with the clients that I've been working with, they have been feeling this off track or off focus, feelings, not as regularly as when they first started out with me. Now, they're always going to feel this off track feeling because we live in a society where we're expected to diet. We're expected to fit into this thin ideal. We're expected to manage our weight to get healthy. I mean, it's a load of rubbish, but that's not changing anytime soon, unfortunately. So that's why I have this group where there's I'm thinking about 200 odd people now, wanting support from each other and from me because, you know, it's so hard to do this all alone. Like I think I shared a blog post, post in the group here last week or something about my personal journey as a health professional, as a dietitian in this non-dieting area, and how I've been feeling. Gosh, I've been feeling so vulnerable, doing this work. So I can't imagine how you'd be feeling as clients, as people who don't have this, education around non-dieting. Anyway, so yeah, that's my biggest tip, is get clear about what's going on around these off-track periods. Now, a few other things on my notes. So a short answer around why you might be feeling like you are going off track is because you're still holding on to beliefs that dieting is the very thing that you need to do. Now, again, as I said before, don't feel bad about this because we're geared, or society is geared, to diet. So, of course, you're going to get these messages consciously and unconsciously. So, it sounds like your non-dieting beliefs are not as strong as your dieting beliefs. So, we need to work on getting the belief system much more like this, non-dieting and dieting. And you'll get there, but you'll get there much quicker with support. Now, I read a research study, I think it was like the Minnesota starvation study or something. It was about these men who were starved for 6 months, I think it was, and they then refed them after that period, and it was interesting. It took them double the amount of time to eat normally again. Now, these were men who ate normally before the study and where they were starved for 6 months. They were refed, and it took them 12 months to eat normally again. So if you think about it, I've had clients who've been dieting for 20 years. Now, if they didn't reach out for support from a non-dieting APD or therapist, depending on where they're at, it can take them, might be all their life if they're not really aware and not really motivated. So if you do have support, it's not going to take 40 years for you to get out of this, but you will still struggle, okay, like everyone. Okay, so that's the short answer about why you might be going off track, is because your beliefs around dieting are much stronger than your non-dieting ones. Okay, so I just want to leave you now. Let's start wrapping things up. I've been talking for about 15 minutes. Hasn't gone quick. Okay, so the message I want to leave with you is that, there's a few here. This is a long time pursuit or journey, okay? You need to be building resilience on this journey for the long term, okay? Dieting, as a comparison, is a short-term sort of thing. Yeah, you do this, this and this for a shorter period of time and you get this amount of result, usually relating to weight. But when you go off the diet, which you have to go off the diet because they're unsustainable, unrealistic, the weight keeps coming back on and you just feel even worse about yourself than you did to begin with. So the non-dieting is not even on the same page, okay? It's about the long-term thing, the lifestyle change. Even though some diets now have caught that phrase lifestyle change and trying to use that, they've also trying to use some of the non-diet or health at every size language, which is quite amusing for us non-diet professionals, but really sad because people are falling for diets like they have never done before because they're using that in their marketing, all this non-dieting talk. So that's a whole nother live feed and blog post, which I've already written. Okay, so the other thing too is non-dieting is very, very messy, okay, because of the emotional stuff that we have to deal with. People who come to see me often say to me, "Oh my gosh, you're like a psychologist." And I'm like, I can see how you think that. I'm not a psychologist, but I have been trained in nutrition counselling. Like a couple of years in, I realised there was a big gap in what I was doing with clients, and nutrition counselling was the very thing that I needed to upskill in, because we don't get a lot of that in uni. So yes, I am much better at talking to people through this messy period because of these nutrition skills. I have nutrition counselling skills. So if you think about it, right, we have this impression, I know I did, because I've been learning Japanese for the last 18 months, and I was under the impression that you go to class, I've been going weekly, so I go to this class, I learn this content, by the next week I have mastered that and I'm now ready for the next content. So that kind of happened for me for the first few months until it just kind of got really complicated. And then I started to lose my, bananas. And I was really feeling really bad about myself. And when I was actually talking to my teacher about how I was feeling, she's like, no, learning's not a linear sort of process that people are led to believe. It's more of a cyclical. And that's the same with non-dieting. But I like to say messy, because it is messy. I mean, we have ups and downs, really emotionally related. And so there comes a point where you might then need to go and talk to a psychologist or a counsellor or something like that, because my skills only come so far. So you really do need a multidisciplinary team in non-dieting. But I can definitely get you started. Very messy non-dieting, just like most learnings, but stick with it, because it gets less messy as you come out the other side. A bit like a cyclone that we've just kind of experienced here in the North Queensland. Cyclone Debbie was getting momentum and getting real crazy, and then she settled down, so went from a category 4, or whatever she got up to, and then came to a 1, and she's still got some effects down in the southeast Queensland with the rain. That's exactly how non-dieting is, because, again, we live in this society of dieting. Okay, so we'll move on. I would like you to think about your expectations around non-dieting, okay? Are they a bit diety? Are they a bit too high? I mean, if you really check in with where you're at with your expectations, you will find that they're not even realistic, okay? And that's what, you could probably ask for help with if you're struggling. But you do need to reevaluate them and align them with realistically what will happen, what can happen for you. So what else is on my notes here about that? So identifying what your values are in life and what the values of non-dieting are, and the principles, and kind of marrying them up and saying, well, is non-dieting for me? And when you really look at this, you'll be like, yes, it sure is. I'm really glad that you are here in this group, because, like I said, or have been saying recently, it's about the support that you need during this long, messy journey. I mean, you could try and do it by yourself, but you're just going to be pulling your hair out and likely relapsing or going off track or off focus much more. And that's just going to mess with your mental health. And, I mean, how's that going to flow on to your family? I mean, family is a big value of mine. That's why when I introduce myself, I say, I'm a non-dieting, accredited practicing dietitian. I help mums who struggle with nutrition and body image to discover the joy in eating, make peace with their food and their body, whilst being the role model for their children that they imagine. So, you can say family is a big value, and I think my son's just woken up, so this is awesome. Love life. That's probably why I've been avoiding it for so long. Archer, do you want to come say hello? Anyway, definitely, if you find that the group is not quite enough for you to, manage these off-track periods, you know where I am. Send me a private message, and we can chat more and see if we can work together. Say hi. This is Archer. He just woke up. Oh gosh. I suppose you're hungry. Okay, so let me just see if I've covered most things that I wanted to chat about. Wait, darling. Yeah. Okay, so I wonder if we've got any questions. I'm not sure. I'll check after I get off. And if you haven't posted any questions and you do have questions, yeah, please put them in and I will get back to you. So hopefully that was useful. Definitely very live and human and real. So yeah, that's what I am, even though I might not come across that way. But yes, I am a mum just like you, and it's not always easy, is it? Anyway, enough of me waffling. Great to chat with you, and we'll talk later.